Welcome to MindShareTV. I'm your host, Robert Mardlacci, where we celebrate the innovators, leaders, and change makers shaping the future of learning. As part of Black History Month, today we are recognizing not just a distinguished EdTech leader, but a friend, colleague, and community builder whose impact spans more than 3 decades. I'm honored to welcome Warren Salmon.
Hey,
Thank you for
Robert.
joining me this afternoon.
Thanks so much for having me. It's indeed an honor and a pleasure.
Well,
Great to connect.
Hashtag honored to have you, Warren. And just a little bit about Warren. He is the founder of Ashware and founder of First Fridays, platforms dedicated to advancing leadership, innovation, and opportunity. With over 30 years in education technology, surpasses me. Warren has led transformative growth initiatives across K-12 and higher education. He also serves as board member of the National Alliance of Black School Educators, championing excellence and equity nationwide. Warren's commitment to education and leadership is part of a powerful family legacy. I had the privilege of working alongside his uncle, Dr. David Bell, faculty of environmental studies, founder at York University, and a respected educator and soccer coach, and was my squash partner. Sadly, we lost him a number of years ago. I had fond memories of him. Warren, it's truly an honor to celebrate you and your journey and your family. I'd like to talk about your family as well. It's a remarkable journey that you've been on. Take us back to the beginning. What first drew you into EdTech, and what's kept you, your passion alive for more than 30 years?
Mm-hmm. So, actually, my background is computer science. I did computer science at Ryerson TMU. And then, I wanted to follow my passion, which was football. There was no.
And you came to York University.
No, actually, I went to UBC first. UBC was like ranked number 1, number 2. So I went there. But while I was there, I was at a Black Youth Conference. We were meeting to talk about issues we were facing as a community from across the country. And I thought about using technology to address some of the problems. So I actually started, I thought about putting stuff online. So I created an online encyclopedia, put different newspapers and magazines online, created a job bank, conferencing. This was pre-internet. This was
really early days.
This was early days. So
I was sport information director at that time at York University. So very relatable. I was, pre-internet, 45 sports teams, of which football was one of them. Right. And you did spend a year at York.
So I got the idea of putting the stuff online while I was at UBC. Then I came back to Toronto, came to York, joined the York football team, and started really doing the background work to form the company to really put this stuff online. And actually, while I was here at Glendon, I took a course, Philosophical Issues in Artificial Intelligence. This is like the late.
You mean the course actually existed back then?
Yes. Yeah. This is at Glendon. This is the late 80s. We were talking about can machines think, and, talking about doing the Turing test to try and figure out if it's a human or, a machine and stuff like that. So it's just great to see it come to fruition, in such a rather short period of time.
It took over 30 years to be an overnight success, in other words.
Yeah, but it's, it started, many, many decades ago.
What's remarkable is you talk about comparing machines to humans and content. I struggle today with.
You can't tell. How can you tell? How do we know?
And that's definitely a concern. So you've seen the industry evolve from early digital adoption to AI-driven transformation. What's the biggest lesson you've learned about leading through this constant change? Because, it was the internet. We went from CD-ROM software, to the internet, to, iPad, to mobile phones. I mean, technology, I was at the BET conference, and that was the epicenter in the UK of the Industrial Revolution. They're seeing this. They talk about AI is an AI revolution, which we tend to be a little more conservative in Canada. I'm not sure that's a good thing, because there certainly is a sense of urgency. This morning, I posted a research report, which I hope you'll chime in on LinkedIn, where Dr. Tom D'Amico shared that 77% of teachers are struggling with introducing AI, because of the upskilling challenges, etc.
Right.
Over to you for thoughts.
So yeah, I mean, I think the technology is always going to evolve, but values are going to really stay the same. We really need to lead with purpose, not platform, and really listen to the educators in terms of what their needs are, and trying to fulfill that. But AI is powerful, but we got to be human centered and culturally responsive. So it really happens when innovation aligns with the community, with the educators. So we really still need to be educator driven, and and see how we can better serve students. Really, I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah, well said. So talk to me, inspiration from your family. Leadership clearly runs in your family. Beyond your uncle's academic legacy, how did your parents influence your values, work ethic, and commitment? From what I recall, your mother was a city councilor, your father was a doctor.
That's right. So it actually started, I think, with Uncle David, my mother's father. He came from Jamaica to Canada. He was actually at MIT in Boston. This is around 1918. He came to Canada. He joined the Canadian Army. He went to New Brunswick. He ended up being shipped to Vancouver on his way to Siberia. So imagine going from over 100 years ago, from Jamaica to Siberia.
From Jamaica, of all places.
Yeah, to Siberia.
Unbelievable.
So he actually, he was injured. He was discharged from the Army, but he continued to live a life of service. He would greet troops at Union Station when they came in. And so he lived a life of service. So I think that influenced my mom, and David as well.
Right.
So that, I think, is where I got, and then it was passed on to me, in terms of living a life of service. My father as well, he was, one of the first Black surgeons in Canada. And he also, at the Palais Royal, there was an incident where I think it was Cab Calloway wanted to play there, but they wouldn't allow, Blacks to attend, so he organized to protest against that. That was in the Toronto Star and everything. So he also lived a life of service. So,
incredible.
So definitely my family has provided, just a great example, including Uncle David, so inspirational.
Fond memories of him and I battling on the squash court together for many years.
Right. Being a Harvard graduate and being a dean at York, and just, so down to earth, and all, just a Renaissance man, playing the bass as well, and being the soccer really coach,
And he was a dear friend, and what a small world, isn't it? And we didn't know each other.
Well, we were traveling because we were both at York at the same time. And I remember seeing you. I always thought you looked so familiar, man. I just couldn't, over all these years, I couldn't, figure out where I knew you from. But you looked familiar, man, because we must have seen each other. Our paths must have crossed.
Because I knew your cousins well, David's kids, who were very active and athletes on the soccer team. But talk to me about the power of mentorship. Mentorship is a recurrent theme in your life and career.
Sure.
Who were the mentors that shaped you? I mean, David was very much a mentor to me in many ways. And why is mentorship so critical, especially for emerging leaders in education and technology?
Yeah. So my mentors, actually, I'd say I've had a lot of community leaders, providing mentorship, educators as well, and then some folks in technology who, I've really worked with over the years to help shape the work that I've done, and it's ongoing as well. Still meeting with superintendents and just educational leaders in terms of looking at meeting the needs of educators and students, So really enforces accountability to the next generation. Also, talent is universal, but access is not. So it can really help to speed things up and really help guide the next generation in terms of speeding up their achievements and their projects and stuff.
Speaking of which, from building from a mentorship perspective
Mm-hmm.
and making an impact, building Ashware and First Fridays through Ashware and First Fridays, you've created platforms that foster connection and growth. What inspired you to build those communities? And we can share a little bit about.
Sure.
I'll pull up your website and what impact are you most proud of? When I learned about you, I could not believe that you were in EdTech and we in the GTA, and we'd never crossed paths given the number of years I was in the space and you were in the space, and I'm so grateful that we finally connected.
Yeah, definitely.
3 decades later, approximately.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I remember. So when you were working with Kevin O'Leary, I remember I did have some interaction with the company. I wasn't sure if it was Kevin or someone else, but I know there were some conversations way back in that would have been probably the early 90s.
No, that's memory lane there. Yes, of course. So, but we look a lot younger than we are, of course. But, and you know what? When we talk about mentorship and well-being, part of what I talk about now with leaders is if you're not mentoring, you're not leading. And mentorship also involves modeling. And you are very active, and so am I. My sport is hockey. You were in football, but you continue to be active. Talk to me about the importance of being, well-rounded in balancing life.
Well, definitely, I think we're both active, physically. So working out or, being active is so important. It really helps to ground you. It helps with your mental health. And it's like a reset button. It's like, and so it really helps to, I think, slow down the aging process. And there's so many benefits, you, I think better, you eat better, you sleep better. So I think that working out and staying active is, almost like a superpower, and, it really helps to balance things out.
Absolutely. And so speaking of superpower, you created this EdTech company. Talk to me about your platform, and you studied AI early days, and here you are today with Ashware. And talk to me about the evolution of it. What's the role of AI that you see that's going to make an impact on learning? We are truly in a revolution. There's no question about it. When I was at the BEC conference, the opening keynote, professor from Cambridge talked about 90% of jobs will be impacted in some way. Not necessarily going away, but redefining roles. Some will definitely go away. Talk to me about your perspective and how your platform's evolving.
So one of the things we've done, and what AI has allowed, for teachers, they always want to tie things to the curriculum. So now we've utilizing AI, they can search for using different curriculum standards, and by subject, by grade, reading level, etc. And it will bring up lesson plans, for K through 12. And from there, it'll provide all this information that's very valuable to them, including a lesson plan. And it will map that out with where they can find that stuff, within the platform. So that's very helpful and just making it a lot more usable. And then they can also, it's also helped us to provide different content with different reading levels. So, we got kindergarten reading level, grade 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and higher ed. So that makes it more usable as well. And then just also adding more content, so
Fantastic.
Programming the AI to, do a lot of this work that would have taken, months and months otherwise. And, but that's really being able to harness the platform to utilize that. I'm using a lot of Claude as well.
Yeah, so that's one of your go-to apps.
Yeah.
What do you use most in the day? I OpenAI ChatGPT is one of my tools that I can't do without anymore.
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely using I'd say Claude and ChatGPT, but Claude is more on the back end, just having it run and doing tasks, and then Chat more for query type stuff.
Yeah. Very cool. And the evolution of EdTech. I've been in it some 30 years. You're the elder statesman in the EdTech world. There aren't too many of us that have been around for more than 30 years. I was still at York University, where I began my career in sport administration and pivoted to running the Business Alliance, I would be retiring this year. But, having gone outside of the university, the little bubble that I was in, which was a great bubble, making a bigger impact. And you make an impact not only in Canada, but in the U.S. as well and beyond.
Yeah. So definitely, actually, the U.S. market was, I've always focused on that from when I first started. And so initially, as I mentioned, I was putting a lot of different material online, but I found that schools were the ones who were interested. And so I took a lot of the material offline, actually, and bundled it into and lined it with different subject areas for the school market. So, that's still been my focus. So I was in places like Washington, D.C., Chicago, a lot of the large urban areas, and actually that's how I came across a networking event called First Fridays for Black entrepreneurs and professionals on the first Friday of every month. And so I brought that to Toronto here in like the mid 90s. So, those both platforms are really, used to serve the community. And
I was honored to speak at one of your events a while back.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Black History Month, during so as you're being a board member of NABC, the National Alliance for Black School Educators, what priorities do you believe are most urgent right now for advancing educational equity?
So definitely closing achievement gaps and opportunity gaps. We see big gaps both in Canada, the U.S., and other parts of the world. Expanding culturally relevant curriculum. So that's been under fire, especially in the U.S. with the attack on DEI.
Right.
And some of it is spilling over to Canada a bit as well. But
I definitely see that as well, which is definitely concerning.
Yeah. Yeah. So it also has to be, become from conversation to policy. Really need policies that are going to commit to those changes in the long run, and not just here and there.
Absolutely. So during Black History Month, we reflect on both legacy and responsibility. What does this mean to you personally at this stage in your career?
Well, actually, I just spoke to about 500 students at the York School. It's a private school.
Oh, wow. Yes, I know it well.
Yeah. So actually, I told the students, Africa prior to slavery was a real superpower. The great advances in STEM and math, science, astronomy, medicine, and then I guess there were some lies told about Black people to justify slavery, and then it's been kind of downhill, since then for the community, and when bring us fast forward to now having Black History Month to, look at Black history, which isn't taught on, the same level as other history. So it's really, a time to reflect. But I think it's something that has to be taught all year round, not just during Black History Month.
And I was going to comment there. This is just
yeah.
1 month, but this
Right.
has to be a continuous effort. And kudos to you for stepping up with the association, the NAPSI Association. For young professionals, especially aspiring leaders of color, who want to make a lasting impact in education technology? What advice do you offer young professionals who are looking to progress through the ranks?
So definitely you got to master the technology, and also people skills are very important. You have to have both, and also you got to build credibility through execution. Not just your vision. Again, seek mentors, and understanding the different aspects of technology. So governance, policy, finance, not just innovation. And also your integrity is very important. So you got to protect your integrity. Reputation compounds over the decades, and you should also be thinking globally. It's so much easier to access different countries around the world, easier now than it's ever been. So those are some things that kind of come to mind.
Amazing. When you think about your career, your family influence, and the communities you've built, how do you define legacy?
To me, it's really building infrastructure that outlives me. That can be passed on, and from generation to generation. Also, creating access where none existed before is another area, and also family, faith, community impact really help define success and legacy more than titles. So those are a few things that come to mind.
With that, Warren Salmon, this conversation reminds us that leadership is not just about innovation, it's about integrity, mentorship, and the legacy we leave behind. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you.
Your 30-year journey in EdTech, your service to the community, the inspiration drawn from your family reflect the very spirit of Black History Month, honoring the past while shaping the future. Thank you again for your friendship, your leadership. I'm having great memories of your uncle and your commitment to lifting others as you climb. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on MindShareTV. Until next time, let's continue to celebrate leadership, mentorship, and the power of community. Until next time, keep the learning curve steep.
Thanks so much.